Hello, I'm Kimberlie Acosta. Welcome to the Native News Update. It's Friday, May 20th, and many of the stories you hear here can be found at our website, IndianCountryNews.com. And here's the news for the day from the Associated Press and other Native news sources. A $40 million bond proposal to help pay for the continued construction of the American Indian Cultural Center and Museum in Oklahoma City is dead, leaving the year-long project in limbo. Republican leaders made the decision to not bring Senate Bill 980 to the full Senate after it had been approved by a Senate committee last week. The museum's executive director, Gina Timberman, said the bond money was needed to keep construction work going until completion in 2015. The proposal would have not allowed the bond issues to be authorized until the Native American Culture and Educational Authority had matching funds in place from private donors and other sources. Without the commitment from the state, Timberman said it is hard to convince private donors to invest in the project. Timberman said the state needs to ensure the completion of the state asset and that she's encouraged by those in the state government who support the project. The bill may have died, but the vision to build the center lives on, she said. A bill to abolish Oklahoma's Indian Affairs Commission and transfer its power to a liaison position in the governor's office has received final legislative approval over the objections of some Democrats who say it sends a bad message to the state's Native American tribes. The Senate voted 26-18 on May 20th. Senate sponsor Senator Clark Jolly says the goal is to elevate the status of the Native Americans in the state by providing them with a direct contact in the governor's office. But Senate Democrat leader, Senator Andrew Rice, says the bill is an example of the Republicans trying to consolidate power. The development of an oil field north of Sturgis may proceed, but on a smaller scale with extra precautions to protect nearby Bear Butte, a state park and sacred site to Native Americans. The South Dakota Board of Minerals and Environment voted May 18th to allow Nakota Energy LLC to continue oil development north of Sturgis, where 2 wells have been drilled but aren't yet finished. But Nakota is barred from developing any wells within Bear Butte's historic boundary, a rectangle of almost 8,000 acres that includes the Butte and surrounding state and private lands, and it limits to 5 wells overall. Nakota also must take steps in conjunction with a Native American monitor to prevent damage to archaeological sites during construction and use small pump jacks and tanks that are painted to blend in with the landscape. Donald Laverdure, Principal Deputy Assistant Secretary of the Interior of Indian Affairs, addressed the United Nations on U.S. support for the UN Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples on May 19th. He emphasized that President Obama holds his administration to a high standard of action on Native American issues. Laverdure's remarks at the 10th session of the United Nations Permanent Forum on Indigenous Issues followed a statement at Monday's opening session by Kimberlie Acosta, Senior Policy Advisor for Native American Affairs in the Domestic Policy Council at the White House. Laverdure's appearance represents the first time that an Interior official has spoken at this forum. Teehee, a member of the Cherokee Nation, and Laverdure, a member of the Crow Nation, both emphasized President Obama's statement when he announced U.S. support for the Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples on December 16, 2010, at the Second White House Tribal Nations Conference. Archaeologists report the discovery of the oldest mine found in the New World from some 12,000 years ago in Chile. The current Anthropology Journal report, led by Diego Salazar of the Universidad de Chile, sets back the age of the oldest known Native American mine by about 7,500 years. The mine, a trench some 130 feet long, was used by Native Americans to unearth red and yellow iron oxide pigments found in human archaeological sites in the Old World dating back at least 200,000 years. The mine resides some 1.24 miles above sea level, a steep hike uphill according to the study, and was likely first mined for 2,000 years by the first settlers in the region, the Huentelequin people. The archaeology team reports they recovered 241 hammerstones left by the early miners, as well as large chunks of iron rock left in the trench. On May 11th, Native American students at Oregon State University and their families gathered with friends and supporters to celebrate plans for the university's new Native American Cultural Center, which will begin construction in June. The new center will be designed by noted Native American architect John Paul Jones and his Seattle-based architectural firm Jones & Jones, who designed the critically acclaimed National Museum of the American Indian. The project will be built to LEED Silver standards, with expected completion in early 2012. Currently traveling along Highway 50, Richard Noble treks across the United States to raise awareness for lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender people's rights. Noble carries a walking staff with a rainbow flag representing the LGBT community. Native American feathers given to him by the Walker River Paiute tribe represents two spirits, and a solar light on top guides his way. The activist said he hopes to raise awareness and gain national support for the American Equality Bill that would grant equality to the LGBT community. According to Noble's resolution, it would amend legislative measures to give sexual orientation and gender identity the same protection provided to race, color, religion, sex, and national origin. Resolutions have been submitted to several city governments in California, and Noble said he will continue to submit them as he crosses the nation. His journey began March 12th at the Golden Gate Bridge, and in 15 months, Noble said he hopes to end his journey at the Statue of Liberty. For more information, you can visit walk.usfreedomring.com. As crews from across the nation travel to West Texas to assist with the grass fire outbreaks, there's a special group there from Arizona. A crew of 20 firefighters from the Apache Reservation in Arizona is there working on the Iron Mountain and Schwartz fires in Brewster County. The Fort Apache Hotshots are actually the first Native American hotshot team in America, established more than 25 years ago, and they tell us fighting fires in Texas is something they've never done before. The group has been there for 11 days. And that's the latest roundup of news from Indian Country on this edition of the Native News Update. I'd like to thank you for joining me, and have a grand day.